afternoon or evening, everyone, and welcome back to Trollspilot's theory lessons. Today we are going to have a good look at Mjolnir. That's my battle hammer for those who were in question. And we will try and show some progress from last summer to now this winter. And see if he has actually lifted in the withers, as we believe he has a bit at least.
Because the stream from before was about how to train the horse to lift in his withers, because we're talking about downhill conformation, you know, and that many people say that downhill conformation is sort of a fault in the conformation of the horse.
Which it can be.
Yeah, it is a fault, but you can train it.
Quite often. Quite often you can train the horse away from that.
Yeah.
Quite simply. Oh, well, it'll take time though, obviously.
So, and also, obviously, that a training like that is not something that you just change the whole thing in one training session, or we can show the whole change in the horse in one stream.
Absolutely not.
No.
This is an important thing that I've learned from one of my mentors on the internet, who can tell you about how to change a person's bearing, how you hold your body up and all that. And this guy, he says that what you have to do is, one thing is that you can try and get more flexible, and you can try and ask people to stand up and all that, but none of that will actually matter in the long haul very much, unless of course you are very meticulous about your insisting about everything.
Just as we talked about with me and my seat and stuff in the last stream.
Yes,
it is the same.
I believe it is the same thing. So the idea here is that this guy came to this the training place, and his body did this. So he had a very slouched position. And what they asked him to do was take a very heavy wheelbarrow, they call it the war barrow, and pull it back and forth a lot with like that. And after a couple of months, he was strong enough to stand up straight, and the body then chose to stand up straight, which is the whole idea. So this most of the stuff that we talk about is correction of some sort of fault, as we just call it fault. You can give it another name if you like. But the point is that the musculature isn't perfectly or well developed. We all have it. Every person you know has that sort of thing, has a bigger muscle here or there. It's like, what we tend to think about is things like, my left arm or leg is stronger than my right arm or leg. I don't have a number that is big enough to tell you how many students I've had who said, "Oh, this is my best leg," and I'm like, "What? Are you a footballer now? Best at what? Standing on or what? What's I don't even." So the idea is that there's something about this leg that obviously makes the rider feel more comfortable with using this leg for something. But what it actually is often very difficult to discern. But most of the time, it's like this. You're too strong on the inside of the thigh, so your inward rotation is too strong and your outward rotation is too weak. But you're also too stiff in everything that wants to rotate you in. And therefore, it's impossible to keep your toes straight forward when you ride, or some such.
And the same with the horse.
And the same with the horse. So what we are going to try and show today is a bit of my words escape me. A bit of progress in one of our horses, who isn't in hard training, but he's changing anyway. So some of the unlocking leads to him moving better, so that he gets stronger in some of the other muscles and all that. And that's what we are trying to going to try and show today.
Yeah, shall we see some of the... we have like 6001.
I have no idea. You're the boss of the movies today. The movie boss.
6001. This is from summer, and we showed this in the stream about the downhill conformation. You can see that he's running. He's very fast. The rhythm is really fast. And he's struggling with coming to the beat.
Yep.
He's tensing up his underneck muscles. But he's trying, you know. And what we wanted to demonstrate then was that you must sometimes let him feel that it's possible to try to lift his withers. That is what he's doing now. And we're not pulling his head down.
Or up.
No, but he is encouraged with half halts on the lunge. You know, I pull a little, like softly on the lunge.
Yeah.
And then I let go.
It goes almost straight.
Yeah, there I let go there, and then he's stretching, and then he's stretching his withers up.
Yeah, he stretches the withers up, then he runs even faster, then he tenses again, and the withers come back down, and he finds a slower pace, but it's not a better rhythm.
No, you see he's running really...
Yep.
But that is, you know, we have to sort of push him a little into the problem and encourage him to try.
Yep.
And of course he can't run like that for a long time. That is too
detrimental
much
to his movement.
Yeah, that's strain on his legs.
Yeah.
But this was to show the problem and show how we can sort of try to access or address the problem.
Yep.
And the two others are, I think, a little like that. We have got 6004, if we can try that. Yeah, you can see here also, if you are trying to get him to the rein, he's struggling against it. He shows that this is difficult to position his head to the left. And we know when we're doing this, we can see that, okay, here is a problem. You can see that he's tense because we have the inside side rein is a little shorter than the outside. And then it's easy to see that he's tense in his positioning to the left. But when we're letting him go a little more, then he's trying more as well. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that he's tense in the underneck, he's tense in the withers and the shoulders.
And some of the things you can see that makes it possible for us mortals to see this. So you see the underneck. That's quite hard to see. Well, in this instance, you can see it, but when you're sitting on top of the horse, it's quite hard to see if the underneck is tense, right? Mm-hmm. So some of the things you can look at is, or feel even, is that in this instance, you can see that his stride with the front legs looks kind of stinted. Uh-huh. It's way too short in front compared to what he's doing in the back. And it's maybe not so much the length of the stride as kind of the opening up of the hind leg compared to the front leg, as the leg that's reaching as compared to the leg that's stretching behind. So both of the front legs look like, you have this saying, they look like they come out of the same hole. Yeah. When you look at the horse from the side, it's not quite there, but you get my meaning, I think.
And it's quite stressful to look at because we're looking at the horse who's running around for a long time. It feels like he's running for an hour, but he's of course not doing that because we're looping the video.
Yeah, of course.
But it's important. I want to stress that you can't just let the horse go like that and just. You have to do something. We were doing this to test out, to show, and this horse shouldn't be running like that in a lunge for a long time.
So
I need to say that.
If we go back to what we were saying initially about how you can change how you move, or your posture, to change your posture,
Yeah.
you have to train the muscles
Yes.
that aren't the strongest from before. If you have a fault, it's because some of the muscles are too strong. Like, say, these muscles pull you down,
Yeah,
or,
that is the same with that
or
horse.
these muscles don't pull you up, or there may be many different ways, right? And if you let the horse move the way the horse wants to move, then he will not change. And I guess that's also a viable way of moving. We have this thing with some of the skiers we have been looking at, the cross country skiers. They have a particular pattern that they move in, and they don't change that pattern over the course of their career. And still they might be the best skier in the world, even if the technique, if you look at it in the way you move, is horrible. But because of the training, the layering of training from a very young age, they can still do this on an extremely high level, because everything has become strong enough over time to withstand the fault, if you want to call it that. So here's sort of a get out of jail free card. I'm not trying to say that you always have to strive for the perfect way to move. But that's what we do. We try to strive for the perfect way to move. Obviously, we're not able to get there all the time.
Yeah,
but that's what we're
teachers, so we need to...
We're aiming for that point. We're taking aim and launching ourselves towards that point.
And that's the reason why we have many horses with all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
Because we are teachers, and people expect us to help them to get into a as good a movement as possible. So that is what we need to train.
Yeah. Do we have? Can we?
Yeah. Can
we look at something newer and then go back to the older stuff?
We can.
I like to see if there's a contrast.
Yeah. Then it's 56-26.
Okay.
I guess. And this is now.
Yeah, we can
Like
see
a week ago or something.
the ground has gotten different.
And the horse as well. You can see he's much rounder. He's got a bigger neck. He's a little more fat, I guess.
Oh, he's a little bit chubby at the moment, yeah.
But his neck is different.
Yep, absolutely.
We can talk about that first. And that what we did. I know that I have been treating his neck a little, and several others at our farm has been treating him with different techniques. But I can only talk about what I've done. I got his underneck to stop being so tense.
Yep.
You can see that it's moving. The muscles in his neck are moving more.
Yep.
They're not a block, like a block pulling his neck down.
Mm-hmm.
So now he can sort of carry his head in a much softer way.
Yep. Absolutely. Even you can see here that he's struggling. You see that he's looking for and he's trying to shake away some stiffness or some such.
Yep.
Sometimes he falls behind the vertical, I can see. Mm-hmm. Can you say something about that? Because what I see first and foremost is that his neck looks twice as big as it did in the earlier. No, obviously not twice, but the sensation is that the horse looks very much more powerful in front.
He's more up in the withers.
Absolutely. So, but sometimes, like here, he's a little bit behind the vertical.
Yep.
Can you talk about that a bit?
I think that at this stage in the training, I'll allow the horse to go a little up over the bit and a little up behind the bit.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to find his balance. But
so there's freedom for him.
Yeah,
to...
you see how I'm using the side reins. They're not pulling him down.
No.
He can stretch a little down, but not too much.
Yeah.
And he needs to find, because he's been allowed to stretch really low with his nose.
Yes, we do that too.
But here we have said to him, no, you are not allowed to stretch too much. You need to stretch like that, and then when he stopped by the side rein, he will instead lift his withers.
Yeah. Some instance, even in this video, you can see in some instance that he lifts through the wither, and you can see that he almost breaks out of the trot, and that is because when he actually lifts through the wither, the energy demand suddenly turns up a whole lot.
That's a very good observation. And one of the problems for his carrying, if he can put his hind legs more under and bend his hind legs and sort of carry the energy through, then he will lift his nose as well. But you can see that the rhythm is quite different. He's much more relaxed in his rhythm.
Yeah, and despite it must be allowed to see, despite the arena's not perfect conditions, should we say?
It's slippery, and he's without shoes.
Yeah. But sometimes in the trot here, you can see that it actually lifts his wither and his neck at the same time. And I wanted to just see if we could see that again, so I could point it out. But it seems I haven't got the hold of how the video evolves. So I'm going to have to look a little bit at it. Of course, our technician is on the case helping me out. So you saw he stretched. Then he lifted, but the energy drain wasn't there. That's because he stretched down. So he did that. There we go. He did some carrying there with his. Oh, that's hard, but he's trying.
And you can see he's getting more and more parallel in his legs.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's getting out of the rhythm.
Yeah.
But he needs to be allowed to find that rhythm, because we are not telling him how to find the rhythm. He needs to do that himself.
All right. But that's not, that's half a truth. I'm going to have to challenge you a bit on that. You say that he needs to find his rhythm, but if it's me standing in the middle, he'll never find that rhythm. Can you should we try and find out a little bit about that? I can see some other people around us smiling as well, so I think we're on to something that's important to talk about.
I would happily talk more about that, but I would like to then go back to the last video from before, and then we can take another, and then I'll try to answer that question.
Yeah, good.
So it's 6006 now, I think. Yeah, you can see here more tense, more choppy in the movement, more like stressed out rhythm.
Yeah, and much. Sorry.
Yeah, when I'm looking for. Tell me first what you wanted to say.
He's much less, much more. He's changing his outline much more. So in the newer videos, you can see that he's closer to sort of the center of where you want him to be all the time.
Yeah.
In this one, he's either a whole lot higher or a whole lot more behind.
Yeah.
Especially a whole lot higher.
But I know where the tension was in that
that's all right.
neck. So, and I could see it here.
Yeah.
So, but you see, he's running more and more.
Yeah.
And then he's countering.
Yeah. So he loses his balance forward at the moment.
I asked him for a counter. I think.
You asked for the counter.
But you see, he's running.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you have to let them go a little, just to let them try to handle the energy, and then.
All right. So there's a fair bit of allowing the horse to try in what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right.
But when you see, if we go back to the newer ones, 5644. You see here. It's It's not that stressed.
Not at all.
But still, he's a little tense in his shoulders, and
Yeah, but there's...
Yeah. But there's another rhythm.
Yeah, and the tendency is much more towards getting into the correct outline. Sometimes you can see that he lifts his forehead forward. That's a thing you can read in some riding books. You can see that the horse lifts his forehead a little bit forward, so the whole neck sort of lifts forward. That's an important point. But what are you doing? I want to know what you are doing.
What I'm doing is I'm asking him to bend a little to the inside with the lunge, and then letting go.
When you say bend a little to the inside, what are you particular about that? Is it like only the head or head neck? What is it?
The head and neck. Mostly, I need a positioning of the two first vertebrae, and that is, we talked a lot about that in earlier streams.
Okay, so first, what you're looking for is to loosen the horse there. Is that the idea?
Loosen him there, and also positioning and bending him a little to the side.
Yeah.
So that the underneck muscles get to relax on the inside, because then if they get shorter on the inside, it's possible to relax them.
Ah, yeah, I get it. So it's like if you try to go into the splits, you will find that you're not very relaxed.
No. And then you get afraid because your nervous system, the man in the brain thinks that so the legs are gonna fall off, so it will never relax.
Absolutely.
But what I want to do, when the underneck, can we see that again? That movie that we saw, yeah. When the underneck relaxes, and you know that it doesn't relax
not in the sit on the couch and relax sense.
But it's moving instead of being stiff and hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's moving and working, and then you get dynamic processes instead of just stiff and hard, and then the shoulders can move in a more relaxed way, and the whole horse, as we talked about earlier in the stream about diagonality, and the structures in the back, the fascia that are controlling the diagonality of the movement.
Yeah.
When the horse stretches and relaxes in the underneck, he will be able to feel the structures in the back and also relax in the muscles that are letting the legs swing forwards. And with the legs swing forwards, they can move
as
like
opposed to pulling them forwards.
Yes.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, because we want the legs to swing like a pendulum. And if the legs are long, they will have a longer weight, or longer, the frequency will be lower.
Yeah.
So a bigger horse will have a slower gait, like a slower rhythm.
Yeah.
And a short horse will... That's natural.
Yeah, it's like a grandfather's clock, which has that long pendulum on the bottom of it. So you adjust how fast it ticks.
Yeah.
By adjusting the weight up and down.
Yes, just like
so
that.
the higher up it is, the faster it ticks, and the lower down.
And if the horse
slower.
does this,
then he has shortened up the levers.
And then he becomes like this.
Yeah.
And if he relaxes, and he can sort of just walk like that. It's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then the horse will find its own rhythm. It's of course we can...
But I want to dig more in this. So what you've said so far is that you do some sort of half halts, whatever that means, and you do some positioning, maybe some bending.
Positioning is...
I get the idea. We
I'm
talked
showing
about that.
those people.
Yeah, so that's two things. Is that all you do?
Yeah, let me look at another then. If we look at the 5647. You see, I'm positioning to the inside with a lunge a little, and then I'll let go. And I guess it's not easy to see, but that is what I do. And if every time I let go, you see he stretches down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because when I position him to the inside like that, the underneck on the inside will relax a little because the way will be shorter, just as you said with the splits.
Yeah.
So that muscle can relax and then start to be more dynamic.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes. And then what is the antagonist to the underneck? That is the top line.
Yeah.
So the top line can stretch and work. And then the horse can lift his withers, and then the front legs can swing more forwards.
But is the only thing you do is positioning the horse in, or do you do something else?
No, I do that. Just position him into the inside, and then I let go.
But if I do that, this doesn't happen. Something other happens. Let's, for instance, if I'm standing in the middle, thinking about trying to do what you're saying now, the horse will have about 80% more energy. And I can't make him relax. Mm-hmm. And with someone else, it will be different, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I know that you have a fair amount of energy in your lunging, and some of the other people I see lunge don't have that much energy, or some have, like I do, more. What more aids are there that we must think about? For instance, what do you look at? Do you use other aids sometimes? Do you use a whip? Do you?
I'm always using a lunge whip.
So what for?
To make a frame for the horse. The whip is behind the horse and sort of controlling the front of the horse with the lunge.
Right.
So.
So is the whip there to sort of stuff energy into the horse, or what do you do?
Or make sure that he doesn't slow down. I don't want to push any energy into him in the beginning, because then he often gets stressed.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, but the whole art is to find out when the horse finds his rhythm, it will slow down and he will become relaxed. But you need to take away the underneck, and then the horse will find his rhythm, and then things will become more slow. And then you can put energy in. Because if the horse is over the back, then if you put in more energy, he will just start pushing off with his hind legs more. And then you will get a longer stride and not a running thing.
Choppy stride. That's what happens when I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I can't say anything more than I've been doing.
So only positioning the horse. That's the thing.
That's the most important thing. And it's also a very difficult thing to do.
So there's some magic in the hand.
Yeah, feeling.
Sounds like magic.
It's like 50 years of training.
Sounds like magic to me. All right. So it is magic. So the whole thing is that little thing you do with your hand isn't just a little thing.
No,
it is.
It's just like you when you're riding. Half hold and relax. Half hold and relax.
Right.
And you have to have contact.
Yep.
Contact with a.
So letting go isn't...
No. Then he loses his balance, because then if you're pulling and just... Then he will be... No. You have to get... And also you get contact if you let the horse go with a certain energy forward. Sometimes a little over tempo, perhaps. But you have to have patience and wait until he finds the rhythm. And of course, also I'm changing the side reins a lot to find out what is most suitable for the horse.
Yeah, longer or shorter.
Yeah, so
a little more position, a little less position.
So sometimes only the inside and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about that a lot in earlier streams. But what is the most important thing, I think, that has happened, that I have been watching with this horse since the last time, is when I managed to take away that tension that he had here.
Yeah.
Because then suddenly the whole neck position of the horse was like, he's going from here to here. He was so much more up in his neck.
Yeah.
And so much more relaxed. He was like almost like he was relieved and could breathe more and stuff.
He has
like
changed his behavior in the paddock even.
Yeah.
So that
And then he was able to build muscle.
Yeah.
So
and he's done that by himself mostly.
Yes.
That's very interesting. But we have experienced the same thing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So weird thing with me is some of the untangling techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So make my underneck loose, makes the backside of my arm stronger.
Mm-hmm.
How that works, God only knows, I suppose, but it absolutely does.
And the pain in your elbow got away?
I have no pain in my elbow.
No, I never had. And also, you got stronger in your back.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also because I've been training that specifically.
Of course,
though.
you need to train as well.
That's what also.
You must also run.
Yeah. We haven't seen this one yet, I think.
I think we saw that.
We have? I was wrong.
I'm not sure. Let's try. 56:48.
Let's have a go. No? Cool. I was right.
Haha. You're often very right.
It's numbers.
Yes. And you see now, you see that he's a little, he's not so rhythmic
As
on the other side. And
and on the other hand, yeah. I get it. This is his specific problem thing. So we mentioned earlier that there's to the degree that there is a real problem. The problem is when this horse loads one of his hind legs to push up and forward. So when he does, he will either run, or he will back off, or he will go to the outside, or he will evade carrying weight on the hind leg. Especially if he's carrying weight on his back. So it isn't the leg per se, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. My opinion is that if he has to try and lift his back at the same time, then he doesn't want to carry on the inside hind. Mm-hmm. And that is quite difficult to see in this just trotting around little thing, right? Mm-hmm. But you can see it expressed in what you said. Mm-hmm. The rhythm is off.
The rhythm is like choppy.
Yes, it's a little bit
like
choppy,
that.
But it's.
Can we see it once again? Let me see it. Oh yeah, we get it. Slow motion.
It's actually harder to see slow motion, but that's just good. That's fine. Keep it going. So what you can see here is, see the inside hind trods towards us. Mm. It doesn't track the inside foreleg, or even better would be maybe a slightly more outside, so to the middle of the horse a little bit. Some strides he does a little bit better, and then it looks like he's bouncing more, which is just what we want. But he finds it really difficult to reach in there, and it is a back thing.
Yeah, it is a back thing, because you can see the diagonals over the back. The one that is going from the inside hind leg and diagonally over the back until to the outside shoulder. Yeah. So there is it trots to the inside all the time, towards us, towards the. And that is the reason why I'm always trying to see if the horse can bend. First, if he can position his head to the inside, and then if he can do both. Yep. Just bending and positioning, and then you can sort of provoke the horse to show you this fault. Yep. Because it's not so easy to detect it when he's walking like straight forwards. No. because then you're sort of checking the diagonals when you're bending the horse like that. You're checking especially that diagonal.
Yeah, the inside, hind, outside, forward diagonal.
Yes, over the back, and see how that is sort of moving. And you can see here, especially we saw it in the slow-mo, that the muscles in the back are actually working. That is good. So he's working on it, but you know, just like it takes time to learn how to dance on a slack line. And it's the same with him. Now he's on to something. He's trying really to stretch that back and find the rhythm.
Yeah.
And then he must be allowed to do that a little.
Yeah, well, he doesn't dare bring his pelvis forward on the inside. He doesn't dare bring the pelvis forward on the inside.
Right. That is sort of this. When he does that, when he is putting his knee, like inside stifle, underneath his belly, then he needs to stretch his back.
Yeah, and
the whole diagonal, and he doesn't dare do that.
Yeah.
So there is something that is stiff in that diagonal.
And he can do it if there is no weight on it.
Yes, and then he needs to do it without weight.
Yeah, and that is just like we said with the splits again.
Yes.
So weighted splits, really tough.
So then you get all that is when you get bucking horses and people who horses who react.
If you want to see someone who's really both flexible and strong, search for Juji Mufu on the YouTubes, and you'll find someone who can do the splits with weights in his hands. Even weird guy, but anyway, we haven't seen this one either. I think
56, 49.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to. I
think I've tightened up a little on the inside rein here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm asking him, I was saying to him, you might just take it slowly. It's no problem. Just try. And he is actually doing that.
I think he's bringing his inside knee a little bit more forward and up.
Yeah. But he needed to be a little more, bent a little more.
Yeah.
To be able to feel that need. Yeah. There you can see that the diagonal becomes better.
2 strides of proper rhythm.
Yes. Right.
We have to see it again because it was 2 strides.
Mm-hmm.
And you sounded like, oh, there it is. And we're like, what? Where?
You see there? Oh, and then he lost it a little. And that is what you get in the beginning. You get a couple of strides. And then you have to sort of... I praise him, but I don't think I need to praise him because he feels it himself. Because that is sort of... They're so good at feeling the movement when it gets right.
But even if he doesn't need your approval, I'm sure he would like to have it nonetheless.
That's a good quotation. Yeah. So you see that he's lifting his withers and
here we go.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah. And a little there as well. He's trying.
Yeah.
But then he needed to be he needed me to shorten that inside rein a little.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that right away because then it will be too much for him.
Yeah.
So you need to be really feeling about this stuff. And you couldn't do it last summer because then he was too stiff in his underneck, so he was not able to do it.
Yeah, and now he is. Some of the things you can do is you can look at the what do you call it? The little pad on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how that moves.
Yeah.
Sometimes it kind of looks like it gets flat and falls down.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it kind of gets airy and lifts up.
Yeah, and sort of moves in a little circle.
Yeah.
Or dancing.
So, not good. And better.
Then it's dancing. And then it's not dancing.
Yes. That's one of the ways, one of the things you need to look at in order to see all this stuff. Another thing you can look at is if it looks like his whole mane kind of opens up. Yeah. That's always one of the things you can look at. Also, if the mane kind of opens up like this, like that, and or if it splits down the middle of the neck
it
all the
sort
way.
of takes this Vella moment.
Yeah.
When the mane goes like that.
Perfectly you.
That's a very, that's a very, it's happened so many times now, so I know that it's not a coincidence, but when the mane becomes like, like slow motion like that, then the back is moving right.
Or if the horse looks all of a sudden like everything kind of clicks into slow motion for a stride or two, or you get the feeling that the rhythm changed to something groovier. Those are things you have to look for.
Yeah, and often if they stumble in the hind legs, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's
because then they're changing the rhythm.
Yes.
And changing the rhythm to in with their backs.
Oh, the horse stumbled! Great.
Yeah. Yes, he stumbled. Yeah, and then suddenly they're snorting, and then they're starting to kick off with their hind legs in a better way.
Yep.
But they need to get the rhythms correct before they are able to do that, or else they can't lift the front, the withers.
Yeah.
Because that needs to be done for each step.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that's a dynamic process, and that you need to understand that it's not something that just happens once and then the horse is moving like that. It's not moving like that. It's moving like that.
Yeah, it's kind of waving through the...
Yeah, so every step he needs to lift the withers. And of course he doesn't manage to do that for each step in the beginning. But when he becomes stronger and more rhythmic, then he will do that as easy as nothing. For every stride, it becomes second nature.
First nature.
Yeah. First nature. So yes. And
one thing I was wondering, can we can see this, when the horse kind of swings his back, is it like this?
No. What
is it like?
You have this thing that you show with a whip.
Mm-hmm.
So the horse's back is like this, and then the hind legs comes under.
What, these
are hind legs.
Yeah.
And this is very exaggerated.
Yeah.
But hind legs comes under, and then there is sort of this movement. Whee.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I get it. So that's extremely exaggerated, right?
Very, because the horse hasn't got a back like this, But it's like, is it doing? Whoop?
Yeah. So this is important. So what she says now is that that movement is a flexion movement of the spine. All right.
Yeah, but it's
It is a flexion movement of the spine, but there are different things you can think. If the spine is like this, and you put some weight here, if the rider is there or the horse's head or whatever, doesn't really matter, that is a flexion load.
Yeah.
But the spine might still be in extension.
Yeah, and this is the problem for most horses.
And if you're not really strong, your body will default into extension.
Yes. And
this is important.
Many people think that lift the back of the horse is like the horse is going to move like this.
Oh, so it jumps like that?
Yeah, and then that's
That's a funny horse.
So it's moving. It's supposed to move like this.
Mm-hmm. So there's a slight wave in it.
But the back is relatively straight and not so dynamic, because the horse's back spine is not very flexible.
It's quite easy to I can say a thing that will explain that pretty easily, actually. Think about this. The horse should carry its weight on the haunches. Okay, everybody knows that. So what's the weight of your horse? Say the weight of your horse is 1,000 kilos. and well and good 700 of them are on the front legs. And you want the horse to carry its weight on the hind legs. Do you want to do that through like a wet piece of spaghetti string? No. You need a powerful structure to lift that. But it needs also to be dynamic. So it allows somewhat movement through.
Yeah.
But the more power you want to get through, the stiffer it must be.
And the more belly muscles the horse needs.
Belly and back at the same time. Needs to be enough power on both or all sides of the spine.
So if you remove the saddle of a horse and there is a hole where the saddle used to be, you know, so that you could fill this hole with saddle when you saddle up, then your horse has not got enough back muscles.
Probably not, no.
Because it should be a smooth line from the withers and the whole way, not sort of a...
remember, of course, that the horse might have a spine that is extended to some degree, so the belly is hanging and the spine is hanging a bit, and that doesn't necessarily say anything about the musculature.
No, because when the horse is...
Because when he moves, he might change.
Well, that is also a thing with saddle fitting. When you're fitting a saddle and the horse is, when he stands, he's like that. When he moves, he's starting to swing his back. So you shouldn't be... you should be considering how the horse moves as well.
Absolutely.
And you want to ride the horse up into the saddle. Yeah.
You've put some images in here as well.
Those are just the images that we that I wanted for the poster for the stream. But
They still look interesting.
Yeah, we can look at the image in number 1.
Oh, yeah. We have got a question.
Oh,
2 even. Oh, sorry. We're a bit late.
How
Slow.
interesting.
So Nadine is asking, what with a lazy horse? You push in energy to get forward movement, and then the horse gets stressed and shorten the strides. How to find the middle ground?
Oh, let's stick with that first question.
That is a very good question because, horses that are lazy are often, most often it's not lazy, it's just stiff. And if it's stiff in the neck, shoulder area or here, you know, especially when they're stiff right behind the jaw. And
typically for heavy set horses.
Yes. Then they are not able to kick off with their hind legs because, there's an efficient turn off because, energy and stiffness there is dangerous.
Lots and lots of caveats here. So what Hanne says is absolutely correct. But you experience... Nadine says she experiences that if you put in energy, the stride just gets faster and faster.
Yes.
And that is because the more energy you put in, the stiffer the spine must be to protect the stiffness in the front of the neck towards the head, because that structure is prioritized. Because if it breaks, the horse dies.
The nervous system always protects the spine.
Yes, and especially the weakest part.
But that is, when a lazy horse is stiff here, and a horse that is running is also stiff there.
Yeah.
I would say 100% of the horses that I've been instructing, and those are many hundreds now, if I go to the neck and fix the tension there, the stressed out horses that are running, they will become more relaxed, and the lazy horses will go more forwards without you don't have to sit and kick them all the time, because then they will sort of relax there and they will find the rhythm, and then everything is nice.
But patience.
But it's just what you said, that when the horse, or that Nadine says. And when you push the horse that is stiff here, the lazy horse, push them, and then you finally think that you get some energy. You don't get energy. The horse is just shuffling more with his front legs. And then he's sort of tumbling all over and then running to try to get his balance back.
Yeah. So
find the rhythm.
Find the rhythm, and that is by way of the positioning,
or
manipulating,
getting this tension out, and helping the horse to do. You mustn't just put on side reins and just pull and do all kinds of forceful things.
No, so
No.
Make him run and then pull at it.
No, never.
No?
So that side reins that we are showing in these videos are put there quite slowly. After that, we find that the horse is fine with it, and they're not pulling his head down or pulling head in. It's just helping the horse to position him a little to the side. Just as if you sit on the horse, that you could see the inside eye and nostril a little.
Yeah,
that is the only. But because it's easier for the horse to find his rhythm and his back when he's on a circle.
So, lunging on a circle, positioning when the horse is lazy,
and you have to yield. It's very important, because it's only in the when you give the rein, it is same thing as when you're riding. You take a half hold and then you give the rein a little, and it's in that position when you give the rein, the horse will find its balance and find his rhythm. It's never going to find the rhythm if you're pulling.
No. All right.
And the same with the side reins. You must not just pull them in, then it's not going to work. Yeah, and there was another.
Yep, there's a question from Hege Høiby.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to describe what the feeling in the hand consists of that you need to have or train? What is the feeling you're looking for from the horse?
In the lunge, I guess.
It feels like magic.
You need to feel the contact. There needs to be contact, and the contact you get that when you get the horse to move forwards, and not run.
But how does it feel?
Yeah, getting to it. The contact, it just feels like you, when you're riding, you feel that there is sort of not a pull, but it's sort of a suction forwards. The horse is sort of taking his end of the rein or the lunge, and you get this mutual feeling that the horse is carrying his end of the rope, and I'm carrying mine, and he's not pulling at all. He's just holding the lunge.
That was very interesting. You say that the horse holds his end of the rope, holds his up or out, or
no, holds a little like this, pulling a little,
pulling it
towards himself, but not pulling.
No,
but just holding the weight of the line.
Yeah.
So that the line.
And then you hold your end of the line.
Yes, and we need to agree to hold the line between us.
I was right.
That is
magic.
Contact. That is contact.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you feel this contact in your hand, just like, and then it's sort of what's that? It's tillit. What is that in
trust?
That
mutual.
It's
trust.
a mutual trust between us.
Yes.
Yes, and then you could just do that, and then I pull a little like this, and then he will position his head to the inside, and I will let go like really soft, and then he will do this head to the inside, and then I let go, and then he does this. It will stretch, and then he stretches down and brings up his back.
Yeah.
And then in that moment the rhythm will be better.
Yes.
And then he will lose the rhythm again because it's difficult to balance.
And when the horse has lost the rhythm, is the contact different?
Not necessarily. It depends on how much he loses his rhythm.
Yeah.
But then I have to just a little. Sometimes if the horse.
If the horse loses its rhythm and you do nothing,
then he will just run.
And what happens to the contact then?
Then he will perhaps be hard and run and pull at the lunge.
All right.
Or it will.
So you work to maintain that
all the time.
That feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something that lies there and you search for it. It's something you create.
Yes.
From your end of the holding up the rope, sort of.
Yeah, and also if I need a little more energy, I will sort of do this with the whip. I just shake it a little, or let the end of the whip just go to his hindquarters, or sometimes if he goes towards me with his shoulder, I will shake the whip so that the end of it goes to his shoulder. And the horse will always understand that if I point to his shoulder, he will take the shoulder out. Because that is also, if he takes the shoulder out, he will bend more so that he loosens his inside on the neck.
I can try and fill in some idea of that contact feeling. It's important to understand that if you're riding, I'm going to describe it from the riding side because I'm not so good at lunging. What I do when I ride, I sit with my shoulders like in the right position and my arms not quite there. It wants to be here. Like that. And when I hold the rein, it is as if I'm pushing the horse's nose towards me or in the horse. So can you be the horse for me a little bit? So if you can sit up and push a little bit against me just. So if we push against each other, there is always tension, right? So if you pull, there is always tension. But if we both hold our end of the rope up, the hand...
Then we start communicating.
And then we can do all sorts of stuff and our hands don't leave each other. And what's going on now is that sometimes Hanne makes the movement and sometimes I make the movement. And it is perfectly possible to feel and move around like that.
This is just like
with the horse's neck, it's a little bit different. Because if I take your head and change the position of your head on your body, that will control your body into some weird positions, right? And it will make it very difficult to do some movements. So it is a stronger... it needs to be a stronger contract than the one we just had with our hands. And that is an important point, I believe. But it has to be created out from a stable position. So I am not inside the stable, but a stable position like on your seat bones with your body quite balanced. And then the horse can find your hand if you adjust the rein to a length that is appropriate for the horse. And that is sort of the same idea, I hope, that you are trying to describe.
And it's like when you're lunging, as I did now, with an outside rein.
Yeah.
As that is sort of always the end goal for the lunging, is to be able to lunge with two reins. I sometimes begin with just the inside rein when the horse is very stiff. Then he is allowed to move his shoulder to the outside to find out where to start bending.
Gives him more freedom of movement.
Yes, but then when you have the outside rein, you can, when you're not pulling, but you're taking a little with, then you're actually also controlling the outside of the neck. Yeah. So that you're letting him go into
it's like this. It kind of...
Yeah, you're creating a wall on the outside. Yeah. And that is also a more collecting because if you're controlling the outside rein, you will collect the horse more. So the inside hind leg will sort of be
encouraged to carry more.
Encouraged to carry more. Yeah. So that is also why I'm doing those half halts.
Yep.
So are we starting to run out of time?
I think we have actually run out of time.
Yeah, but what we need to say now that we have done after this those videos that we took last week is that you have been working the horse in hand.
Yep.
And teaching him how to step on those hind legs with bent knees, and he actually piafed.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah.
Just a couple of steps. And then he's like surprised. Wow, I can actually take up some energy in those hind legs.
Yeah.
And that is what he needs to do before you sit on him again.
Yeah.
It's so important with the young horses to take your time, but don't waste your time. But you need to take your time if you're taking the time needed in the beginning, so that the horse is really comfortable with carrying the rider, and that is easy to find the rhythm for him. Then you will get much more progress later on.
Yeah, it's like when you see those couple of strides where we go, oh, that's the rhythm is different. When you see those positive, better rhythm strides, then you know something about whether you can now work the horse in hand and expect that he can try and carry on his hind legs. Because working in hand like that is a very high demand if you want the horse to actually carry from behind. It is a given then that you're asking him to do something that he finds hard. Which is it's not hard in a negative way. It's not hard in a way that puts too much strain on the body, on the joints and all that.
But
it's difficult to balance yourself properly in those positions. And it's the same with our movements too. If it's difficult to do a properly good squat.
Yeah, and that is because next time we're going back to people again.
Oh no.
So perhaps we should show a good squat. What is a good squat?
I'll show you a good squat.
Yeah, something like that. And then after that, we might go back to one of the horses, perhaps Mjölnir again.
Yeah, maybe.
And see what, because we're not showing something that is sort of...
we don't have a finished product at the moment.
No,
we're bringing
showing
you along
on
this journey.
Yeah, what we're training right now.
Yeah.
So then we don't know what's going to happen next time.
Next time we'll show you a good squat.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We will. Thank you guys for coming along. And next time we'll lift hundreds and hundreds of kilos of squats spread over several movements.
And some other exercises.
Some other good exercises to become better. Thank you guys for tagging along. See you later.